and the New Jersey Cannabis workshop, which was about licensing. So leading up to that, it's pretty much every conference and expo that we have, you have an 8-hour workshop day, and then you have your conference sessions and expo. But this year was different. This was 4 days, full days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now Saturday tomorrow. So leading up to this, and we were just talking about this as a team earlier today. We're going to expect tomorrow to be very crowded because it is a Saturday.
Absolutely.
It's number one. And we're capturing people that couldn't make it during the week, that are investors, financiers, bankers, lawyers, accountants, medical providers. And that's what we're hoping to capture, and we see from the registrations that's the case.
Right.
And that will be the case. So when we contemplating this, when reflecting on planning this before it happened, that was the mindset. Well, how can we expand this rapidly? How can we give this East Coast a unique something that they need to get better educated on the cannabis industry, take advantage of the booming evolution and revolution that's going on here, invest, because this is the investment capital of the United States, if not the world, and the media capital. What would a Saturday be? And it's really the first time that we've done it. So in reflecting on this,
it's the first time that you've done it on this schedule?
On a Saturday.
Usually Friday's the closeout.
Friday's the closeout.
Okay.
But we're looking. I can see already it's exploded in the opportunistic approach for attendees, and it's more than a feeling. This is packed here on a Friday afternoon before a weekend. Tomorrow's going to be packed. So I think on a reflective note, I think we did a good throw. It was a good throw as an entrepreneur. That kind of thinking, it's entrepreneurial. As a business, we're looking to grow, but we're also looking to help the industry grow in the right way. And that is including people that are working people, and try and get them to consider this as a new economic layer in some way in their business life.
And I know you're a perfectionist, and year over year you've made improvements. So I just want to say mission accomplished. It really shows that the care that you put to kind of making this experience greater every single year, from changing the times to adding another day for working professionals, and that's working professionals around the world. Just saying, hey, we'll give you extra time to get in for a Saturday, and this is the robust agenda that we planned for you, and this is what the exhibit floor will look like. Our vendors are still going to be here for you. I love the fact that you really take the time to pay attention to detail. So, what do you think is next for, one, the industry, and then the Cannabis World Congress and Business Expo brand? So
that's another good question. So from show to show, this is our 4th New York show, the 5th annual New York show, but the 4th time here at the Javits Center. And what we've noticed was a growth spurt every year of not just the show itself and attendance and speakers and exhibitors. That has to happen in a deliberate way, and we're happy to say it has happened every year. But what happens is, what I see happening is, the exhibitors that are here, some are repeat, many are repeat, some are brand new into the industry. They're coming with a very higher up level of booth creation, approach, promotion, staffing. I see...
And just spending.
And spending, investment. You can see it happening at the exhibitor level, and what they're bringing to the show, how they're promoting themselves, how they're looking at the attendees, and really appreciating how many leads they get, and the type of attendee that's coming in, as far as, are they looking to be a partner? Are they looking to invest? Are they looking to be a service provider for the things that I do? Can I be a provider for their business? This is exactly what they're looking for, and they're bringing to the table a real ramped up approach, and I've noticed that. So I think that the next step, in answer to your question, is more of that. I think there's going to be more of a chunk. It's going to keep ratcheting up every year at this expo. I know that in New York and all of the markets.
And a lot of that has to do with the growth of the industry and the fact that the startups, the patient-run companies, are now, some of them potentially making in the millions of dollars or hundreds the ones who started really, really early in the game, maybe your first year of the conference or prior to the first year of the conference, now their budgets have increased because they have more of a market share. And I'd like to think that this conference is a contributing factor to the year-over-year growth that you're seeing from return vendors. So do you want to speak about that?
So the growth of the vendors that come here and the
well,
business.
No, just saying that your content and your opportunity to vend in your space creates an environment for these companies to increase their revenues. And as a result of increasing their revenues, they come back the next year stronger with like official titles and like official organizations. So that must feel good.
Yes, this is true. I think you put it. You asked the question and you answered it in a good way, and I'm going to elaborate a bit on that.
Sure.
So, what we try to do in some place like in New York or California in our LA show, which is coming up in September, and then in the Boston show in October, what we try to do is give it something unique and sustainable that each of those markets, because they're different, they're unique. And in an exhibitor, and they may be in every 3 shows, we have a lot of exhibitors in all the shows, you want to bring to your conference program and the expo for those markets, for those people that will attend, and pretty much it's a local attendee. We do have international attendees.
I've met a few.
We do have national ones that come in, but for the most part, there's a lot of locals that come in, and that market is very poised to see. Well, for example, New York, they need the whole tri-state area, the whole East Coast. They need a lot of information on this because it's rapidly growing. It's evolving. It's kind of new.
Right.
You go to the West Coast,
very
mature, but yet it has now a whole different level of adult use. Up and down the West Coast.
Informality.
It's correct. And licensing, and what now the growers have to follow licensing rules and state rules, it's regulation and all that. All of that now has to be brought into my offerings as an expo, as a conference program, as a industry stakeholder that wants to help the industry grow. You cannot bring to California, for example, to my market, you can't continually bring marijuana 101 or cannabis business 101.
I love that you said that.
You got to bring. I have to bring cannabis business 10.0.
Right, and more scientific.
And that's where I got to bring exhibitors that know what they're doing, speakers and professionals that can tell others, this is how you do it, this is where we've been.
Outstanding.
And California wants to be the cannabis basket of the United States or of the world.
Right.
And they will be. But they're the oldest medical cannabis state that we have. And you know what? That's a lot of dedication and years of being in it. You can't just go there bringing, a little bit of something. You gotta represent. You have to promote the next relevancy for that market and the world, because it's going to be the model, and with every market that we go to, it's a unique thing. So I think that helps these exhibitors also decide, well, is that the right show for me? Is that the right place? Some people don't want to be in Boston. Some don't want to be in New York. Some only want to be in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, I love that you do that. I love the variety of geographic locations, and I love the attention. One of the things that you just mentioned was the local market. So really paying attention to the people who, they live here, they work here, they didn't fly in. You want to make sure they're getting relevant, rich content, but then you have to please the international person flying in from Japan and make sure that they left feeling like they have value. So how do you handle that and create the balance?
So that's interesting. We have international exhibitors that come in, attendees that are looking around. They want to supply, they want to network. On the international front, the Asian market is very, very open to just being here and learning. Like they're ready to do anything that is promoting their product in Asia, whatever it may be. And you get a lot of lighting companies. You get, for example,
I saw.
Yeah.
Yes. Row 100.
It is all kinds of that, and they're ready to do something with suppliers that they could, exhibitors that they could supply to. As far as conference and information, they'll attend, and they'll. What's interesting to them is, well, what is the legislation?
Right.
What's legal? What's allowable? Now they're watching it very closely on an international level.
Of course.
You look at Canada, the Canadian marijuana market. We watch that, for example, but they're probably looking at the United States saying, let's hope that they're kind of slow.
Right. Oh, definitely.
Okay?
Let's
So,
and let's buy up all that we can.
but I don't think the
We're
Asian
seeing.
market's feeling that way. I think they come here hoping to sell and to market in a way, because I think at the Asian level, on the Asian markets, I think the marijuana market is kind of closed. It's kind of inside. It's insular. I think it's insular. I don't know that. I'm not very familiar with it, but from the little that I do know about that, it's a little insular. But they come here looking to really network and to make money and to help our exhibitors and to exhibit here.
Right.
But back to the whole market thing. I think what's important for anybody coming from international, they would be very interested in the United States legislation process. And when you look at the East Coast, right now, that's where the legislation is changing rapidly.
Right.
Middle to the east. On the West Coast, it's
established.
It's exactly, that's the great word. And we've got 29 states and Washington D.C. already legal in some way, whether it's recreational and medical laws, right? Not that many states left.
Right.
It's going to happen pretty, individually.
Whether it's
Now we need. I don't know that we should just stop individually on the states. I would like to see, and I'm sure the international business mind and eye is looking at, well, when is the federal going to happen? Because that's going to open up a whole nother trade opportunity, I would think.
It'll fix the banking. I think that's
of course,
an investor,
the banking and all that, and it's really going to create that economic layer that we really do need.
I think we're not too far from that, honestly.
Everyone asks me I'm not a prophet. I don't know when it's going to happen.
Give your best
3 to 5 years, but I don't know if that's the
Magic
case. What do
ball
you think?
No, I think within 2 years, for sure.
Oh, she's very optimistic.
Yeah, I think
that's
within
good.
2 years
You might
we'll
be
have
right.
federal legalization, whether by executive order, act of Congress. So we're going to federally.
Wow.
Yeah. But again, the beauty of what you do is we have the medical marijuana. There's a strong emphasis there, but you haven't forgotten about the hemp.
Right.
And I'm sure over time you've watched the hemp players increase in size and ability to spend.
Yeah, the football players, the Athletes for Care and all that, are you familiar with that organization?
Scheril actually works for Green Roads and he's very involved.
I think the hemp aspects of this whole industry, we need to get hemp legal.
Absolutely, we're almost there. We're almost there.
I learned a lot in this hemp supply chain seminar. I don't know if you sat in on that, but I did for a little bit. And I was shocked to hear, as part of this hemp supply chain, there's a lot of blockades, and one of them was, we're not allowed to eat animals that eat hemp.
Right.
You can't graze on hemp. If they do, you can't use them in the food chain. So the food chain has a block right now on it. So
that's one of the theories behind the increase.
And you know all about that because you're in legislation and
I do lobbying. Yeah. But no, your insight is absolutely correct. As far as grazing on hemp for livestock, but it affects us physically, and over generations we're getting more and more sick.
But we need research on that, and that's the other thing. We should be researching the effects of hemp in the human body. I don't know if because somebody said, well, it's used for rope for a reason. You really shouldn't be eating it, people say, but that's not true. There's hemp seeds, there's all kinds of hemp products.
It's like saying an almond shell can be used as a weapon, but why? So why are we eating it? I don't believe that. I can't believe that.
But I learned a lot in this, and with every conference I learned something. I have a takeaway, and it's more than a takeaway. It's something that, this is what the industry needs to focus on.
Right.
We need to make this part of the bucket list to change.
Absolutely. Well, I love that the fact that you're helping everyone march towards legalization, you're giving a platform for startup businesses to become global between one of your conferences and the next, and you're also covering a wide span of a geographic area by bringing education to people in Los Angeles, Boston, as well as right here in New York. So thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
I appreciate your reflections. I'm going to call it an exclusive because so far I don't think anyone asked you to do one.
No,
so
I did not.
We'll call it an exclusive.
It's very sweet of you.
And we appreciate
you
having Cannabis Life Radio.
Oh, thank you. We're really thrilled you're here. This is great. And I hope that you get good content. I hope you got some good interviews. Did any of the exhibitors come on over?
Yeah, well, we were walking around. We talked to a few exhibitors. So,
were they happy exhibitors?
Yeah, everyone's a happy enthusiast.
That's great.
Everyone we've spoken to is a happy enthusiast.
I'm happy to hear that, and I'm ready to hear otherwise if needed.
Right.
So,
awesome. Well,
all right,
thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you so much. This was great. You guys are great.